Trump is so hated around the world that even when he goes on what is essentially a vacation to Scotland, he gets absolutely outshined and protested by a bagpiper of all things. And we all know that Trump hates nothing more than to be upstaged, so we can guess how pissed he's going to be when he sees that his little meeting with the Prime Minister of the UK was completely overshadowed by a random musician. If you guys want to stay informed on this kind of stuff that Trump doesn't want you to know, or anyone else for that matter, well then you know where to find it, right here at Really American. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button.
With UK, the Prime Minister, they did a great job. You know, they've been trying to make that deal for 12 years and he got it done. So everybody respects it. It's going to be a lot of jobs for here and great for America. And, you know, in terms of even the relationship, our relationship is unparalleled, but it keeps it even closer. You know, when you're able to have a good trade deal, it keeps it even closer.
Now, I'll cut this clip a little bit short because no offense to the Scottish out there, but the bagpipes aren't exactly the most pleasing to the ear. And we don't know for sure if the bagpiper was purposefully trying to drown Trump out, even though he did so perfectly, but it's not necessarily unlikely that he did it on purpose, given the fact that Trump has been subject to a few protests so far during his stay in the UK. And according to this reporting by The Independent, more than 70% of Scots have an unfavorable view of Trump. This comes from an Ipsos poll that was conducted earlier this year, and the Scots do not mince words when it comes to their complaints about Donald Trump. More than 70% of Scots have an unfavorable view of the US President Donald Trump, a new poll suggests. The survey by Ipsos Scotland found that 71% of the over 1,000 respondents questioned held an unfavorable view of the American leader compared to 18% with a favorable view. The survey comes as former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon joked at a conference in Edinburgh that Mr. Trump's second term in office makes her look back on former President George W. Bush more fondly. And that's saying a lot. At least George W. isn't cheating on the green.
Now watch this drive.
Emily Gray, the managing director of Ipsos Scotland, said, "These findings show that the Scottish public holds a broadly unfavorable opinion of Donald Trump, even more so than the British public overall do. While Trump has said he accepts King Charles' invitation to meet at either Dumfries House or Balmoral Castle, I probably butchered that, to discuss a second state visit to the UK, these results suggest that his visit will not be a welcome prospect for many in Scotland." Now, why was Trump over there? Well, when he wasn't cheating at golf while wasting our taxpayer dollars at his own golf course, he was securing maybe the worst trade deal that the US and the UK have had since the tea tax incident. Here's reporting from the Wall Street Journal, which isn't exactly a leftist publication nor an enemy to Trump, but even they had to throw cold water on this deal. Here's where they landed. The US will impose a 15% across-the-board tariff on European imports, up from 10% today and less than 5% on average in January. This means Europe will get a partial reprieve from Trump's 25% auto tariffs, although reports say the 50% border tax on European steel and aluminum will continue. Mr. Trump is trumpeting the EU's commitment to buy some $750 billion in U.S. energy, invest $600 billion in America, and buy U.S. weapons. Much of this would have happened anyway. European countries have been signing long-term contracts with U.S. liquefied natural gas producers as they wean themselves off Russian energy. Europe is already the largest foreign investor in the U.S., with European direct involvement increasing by roughly $200 billion from 2023 to 2024. 3 times that over an undefined period is hardly a great coup. By the way, those investment inflows will increase the U.S. trade deficit because of balance of payments accounting. Sorry, Mr. President. Mr. Trump seems to have abandoned these goals in favor of his beloved tariff, which is a tax increase on American consumers and businesses, including for pharmaceutical imports and ingredients. Making Americans pay more for drugs via the tariff is an odd way to punish Europe for its price controls that let it free ride on American drug innovation. Because there hasn't yet been a recession or a global tariff spiral, they say his trade policy is a great success. No Great Depression too, the critics must have been wrong. But Mr. Trump is the one who has retreated from his North American and reciprocal trade assaults, and the damage in lost trust in the U.S. and new economic costs is still real. Though his tariff apologists think otherwise, Mr. Trump can't repeal the laws of economics. Trump is such a horrible dealmaker, such an economic tragedy, that even his own voters can't help but point out that his economic policies aren't putting any more cash in their pockets the way he said it was going to. Here's a collection of Republican and independent voters who voted for Trump being asked how they feel about Trump's second term. The New York Times asked them, "How do you think the economy is going for the country in general these days?" Adriana, a 53-year-old New York Republican, said, "It's not good. Prices are going up. Nobody's paychecks are really going up. Things that once seemed pretty affordable now seem almost unattainable. A decent vacation costs a great deal. But I believe in time it will balance itself out. Right now, we're just on a little shaky ground financially." They were then asked, "When do you think the economy is likely to turn around?" Adriana responds, "I don't think anybody can put a timestamp on it. I just wish it'd be sooner rather than later." Jose, 45, an independent, said, "It could be a lot worse, but you used to be able to buy steaks. We're all hoping these tariffs and everything work, but will they? When?" Kevin, 32, a Georgia independent, said, "I bought a house during Trump's first term. Interest rates were low. Nowadays, if you want to buy a house, it's almost impossible because interest is hitting you in the head. I hope it gets better. I voted for him because I thought the economy was great before COVID." I mean, sorry to tell you this, Kevin, but the economy was great for Trump before COVID because we had just come out of 8 years of Obama, who managed to turn around a recession and create one of the better economies the U.S. has ever had. Angela, a 58 California Republican and maybe the craziest out of this group, said inflation is rising higher than what salaries can keep up with. You go to the grocery store, it's crazy. I'm in California, so gas prices, crazy. I think we're hurting. I think the economy is really bad. Christopher, 28, from Pennsylvania. It feels like a roller coaster. I saw it most when I got a notice that some of my 401k had dropped because the tariffs started. It's an aggressive play, it's very bold. I just hope everything plays out as intended. Now, of course, all of these people are suffering from the same hubris, unwilling or unable to accept the truth, but also unwilling to say that they were clearly wrong about Trump. He doesn't actually have any good economic policies, let alone ones that have their best interests at heart. His aggressive tariff posturing and his bullying of our greatest trade partners just ends up with Americans paying higher taxes. And his bullying of our adversaries like China has only ended up constantly pushing back the actual trade war every 30 days. And this uncertainty isn't exactly good for business. But Donald doesn't know what's good for business. He literally bankrupted a casino, which are known for damn near printing money. But you know the saying, everything Trump touches dies, including our trade relations and our economy. If you want to stay informed on the stuff that MAGA hates to see, well then you know where to find it, right here at Really American. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you next time.